Well, I think there's definitely potential to see some of what we observed in the US election reflected here in Australia, though there is an important caveat, and that is that the economic situation in the US is quite different to what we see here. So over the last generation, both countries have grown their economies significantly, but in Australia, we've seen that growth much more fairly shared. So households that have been on low incomes have seen those incomes grow, whereas in the US we've seen a lot of stagnation in those households. And a lot of those people ended up voting for Trump, voting Republican for the first time in a long time. But what we do see in Australia is very clearly a lot of people disengaging from politics, disengaging from our political process. So just about any indicator that we might like to look at shows us that people have less faith than ever in people like Tim and I to properly represent their views. Unfortunately, Jim, even you come into the gun with the media.
That's fair enough.
Yeah, no,
fair cop.
A recent survey suggested that only 6% of Australians feel very confident that the federal parliament is acting in their best interests, and that's obviously something that would concern Tim, concern everyone in politics. Your point about young people, though, is a really good one. In the 2013 federal election, about 400,000 young people didn't vote in that election simply because they never bothered to get themselves on the electoral roll. Now, the last election, 400,000 people, that's 4 federal electorates. They could have changed who the government is in this country. But I think what it shows is that we're not doing a good enough job at showing young people, at showing people who are a bit disengaged from politics, that they've got a stake in this process and it's something that they can influence.